Hello everyone, welcome to the Green Man channel. Hope you're doing good and well. So time for the second of 3 album reviews on the channel this Sunday, and this time I'm tackling the third studio album from Californian heavy metal band Night Demon and their release Outsider, which came out via Century Media Records back on the 17th of March, so a couple of weeks back now. And this album is 9 tracks if you include the bonus track, and 37 minutes in length if you include the bonus track as well. So in the lineup for this band, this is a 3-piece band. You've got Jarvis Leatherby on vocals and bass, Armand John Anthony here on guitars and keyboard duties, and Dusty Squires on the drums. So I really thoroughly enjoyed this album actually. This sounds a lot like, it does sound a lot like bands from that era of the new wave of British heavy metal era. But the bands have a hint of Baroness about them. And I say Baroness because the way some of their guitar lines progress reminds me a bit of that sort of approach that Baroness have to their songs. But also the vocal delivery as well reminds me a bit of the way that John Baisley delivers his vocals. So I just got a bit of that feeling to this album. So if you think of early Iron Maiden, sort of mixed a bit with a hint of Baroness, then you have about the sound of this band. So if you think you like the sound of that, then definitely go check this band out, because not only is this a solid album, I think this is a band that, not only is it a solid heavy metal album, but I think this is a band that know how to develop songs very well. And, the 2 longer tracks on this album are, for me, probably my 2 favourite tracks on the album, which I think just serves to demonstrate, I think actually when they go about their business of songwriting and developing songs really well and thinking about their structures, the end result is you get some really great music here. And I think, as I go into the tracks, I'll go into that a little bit more. So what I like also about this album is that it's never one tempo. I don't think for too long anyway. They do, like, as well as to do those kind of classic vintage sounding heavy metal rhythms in this album, you sometimes get breaks, you sometimes get pauses for single note picking and other interval moments in the song. So it's not always just straight up, mid-tempo heavy metal riffing or anything like that. There's quite a lot here to enjoy. So let's start then with, let's get into the tracks a bit more, shall we? So you get the Prelude, which is the first track, which goes into the title track, the opening track, Outsider. Outsider is a bit of a banger with a really memorable chorus that, as I say, just reminds me a lot of that early era kind of Iron Maiden. You'll just feel like you're in 1982 when you listen to that song straight away, I think. And it's just a really strong way, just with that really classic heavy metal chorus. And if you just want that sort of a sound, you'll get it with this song without a shadow of a doubt. Obsidian is a strong follow-up to that track as well, with some great riffing once again, and an interesting song with tempo changes throughout. Beyond the Grave provides the first longer cut on the album. Like I was talking about, this is a track where they really do a good job of developing a song very, very well. I think strong vocals are on display here from singer Jarvis, and actually this song at times made me think a little bit of Audioslave. And I say Audioslave just because, again, there was just a sort of, the vocal lines reminded me a bit of an Audioslave song here. But it's a mixture, it starts off very slow and broody, but the best moments on this track for me are the moments where the track really picks up. They build on the chunkier guitar riffs. Some great lead guitar work comes into the fray in this one as well, and it is just developed extremely well, and it's maybe Beyond the Grave is actually my favourite from this release. The only track I didn't really like so much on this album was Rebirth, which is the middle track, kind of the 5th track on the album, but it's followed up and made up for by Escape from Beyond, which has, again, some great more thrash metal-like riffing on this particular track, and it kind of kicks the album back into life, if you like, before you're taken into Awake, which is another slower but, engaging, well-written track, brilliant execution again, with a switch to a cleaner guitar sound for this song. It almost gives it a bit of an alternative rock vibe. But the album continues from strength to strength. You get another longer song towards the end called Wrath, which is as good as the earlier longer cut. And, the way the track again kicks into action towards its climax gives the track a great payoff. So yeah, this is another pretty strong album. I'm actually give this one an 8 out of 10 because there wasn't really a dull moment on here. There wasn't a moment where I wondered, what's going on with this album. It was 37 minutes straight up classic sounding heavy metal, but with occasional twists. And I think, you know what, it just hit the spot for me, this album did. So that's why I'm going to give it a very strong score of an 8 out of 10. Do you know Night Demon? Let me know in the comments whether you recommend their other stuff as well to me, or what you thought of this album. Would you give it also a very high rating, or did the album maybe not do it for you as much as it did for me? Otherwise, until the final album review tonight, take care everybody. Bye for now.